Even though everyone says that it's the best time for photography, I stopped chasing golden hour, and this made me a happier photographer. After years of setting my alarm for 3 or 4 in the morning, I realized that I'm better off taking photographs throughout the day, and I'm going to show you why. So let me tell you a little story of years ago when I was still chasing golden hour. My son, my second child, was still fairly small, so I was able still to go out and do things. He was sleeping fairly well throughout the night. So it was a summer night. I had decided to be up there for sunrise, and I got up at 3 in the morning. I had prepared my things in the evening, quickly had something to eat, to drink, and drove to the trailhead. Put on my head torch, hiked up like 2 hours in the dark, took a very nice picture of myself walking up with light trails or something like that, and got to the summit just before sunrise. I took some pictures there. I did love the sunrise. It was a beautiful experience. But then I went back down, and by the time I came home, everybody was up, and family life was going on. The children were running around, and I had had a nice experience, but I was also exhausted. To be honest, I felt like I would have needed a good rest, a sleep, and that's impossible, obviously, when you've got a busy life. So I ended up not having such a good memory, really, because I had this thing where I had had a nice experience, but then I couldn't enjoy my family life anymore. So that was kind of a disappointment for me at the time. And this leads me to my next reason why I stopped chasing golden hour. A few years ago, I was a little bit obsessed with Instagram, like a lot of people. I wanted to take pictures who would get a lot of engagement, that people liked, and which would generate some interesting exchanges with like-minded people. But I noticed that in order to get these kind of reactions, the best thing was to have epic photos where you would be in the best light at the top of the mountains. At least that's what seemed to be working for me. And then I would post my photos and often be quite disappointed that I didn't get enough likes, enough comments, or people would be more interested in getting me to comment on their pictures. It was all a little bit weird. Also, in order to get these epic photos, I started to plan my photography shoots excessively. I used to look at weather apps and predict if there would be lights in the sky or not, and all these kind of things. Try to see if there would even be an amazing photo possible where I wanted to go, and then be disappointed if the conditions weren't all met, and I just didn't enjoy the experience anymore. And now I'm going to tell you the moment, the point where I actually decided that it was time to change the way I was taking my pictures. It was a few years ago in autumn, at the end of summer. I wanted to be up at the summit, taking pictures of the sun rising above the mountains with the Mont Blanc and the French Alps behind. I could just picture the perfect photo with the autumn colors, maybe. I was really excited about that. I'd been thinking about it all week long. I'd been planning using the weather apps, the photographers, Ephemeris, in case you know that, all amazing tools. But I'd been spending a lot of time visualizing and imagining what the experience would be, what kind of photos I would come home with. And really, the result was very important to me. I already had the image in my head and was thinking that this is really what I needed, what I wanted. And the evening before, I prepared my gear. I obviously told my family what I was about to do. And I had this idea in my head, of how it would go. I set my alarm. And then in the middle of the night, thank God I woke up before the alarm. I didn't have to wake up the whole family. I quickly made some coffee, took it with me, took my rucksack, checked that I had everything, checked that I had my camera, because that's kind of a problem if you're at the top of a mountain without a camera. yeah, then I drove to that place. It was really dark, foggy in the night. I struggled a little bit to find my way because obviously, to make it more interesting, I had chosen a mountain where I had never been to before. Finally found a small parking space in the middle of the night, packed my rucksack and started to walk up the mountain, all excited. Of course, I didn't choose a small mountain, but it had to be like a 3-hour hike, really high up to our local mountains. Then I got to the summit and I thought, this is beautiful, this is amazing, so many stars, such a beautiful view. And then it kind of dawned on me. I just thought, yeah, beautiful stars. It's a little bit weird. Looked at the time and I thought, why is it so dark? It's not like I ran up the mountain. And then I suddenly realized, oh no, it's the night where we change, from daylight saving time in the summer to changing the clocks in the winter. And I got completely mixed up and went up 1 hour too early. So I was sitting there at least an hour before sunrise. On one side, you could say it's a good thing. On the other side, I got bored quite quickly, enjoyed the surroundings, but I also thought, this is a little bit weird, but I didn't think too much about it. I mean, I took some pictures, then I got my sunrise shot, which turned out nice enough. Nothing earth-shattering, I would say, but it was nice. But then here comes the slightly difficult point. I started walking downhill, and it took me a while before I looked at my mobile phone. And then I noticed that I'd missed a message from my wife, who explained that when I left really early in the night, just after I left, my daughter woke up and she wouldn't go back to sleep, and she was really quite difficult. And yeah, I had a little bit, quite a lot of regrets, I have to admit, because I really don't like to let my family down. I had to change something. I had to find a compromise. And clearly, being on top of a mountain for sunrise wasn't going to work out, was it? I mean, it's not like I could take my 3-year-old son with me, hike for 3 hours in the dark, and be on top of the mountain. And I didn't really want to do that anymore because I was starting to feel really tired as well from work, from the commute and everything. And I'm not getting any younger either. I mean, I'm not super old or anything, but I don't like the feeling of feeling constantly tired and all of it. It's just not something that I enjoy. I want to be present in life. I want to enjoy every moment. I want to be, to be able to be fully present at work, but fully be present as well when I do my photography, my videos, and especially my family as well. So I decided that I was going to stop doing this kind of early morning hikes. And for a while, I didn't take any photos. I just thought, yeah, let's just think a little bit and see what happens. So after that, I ended up not taking any photos for a few weeks, maybe even a few months. I'm not entirely sure anymore. And for a while, I thought that I had just lost my interest in photography. And I was a little bit sad about it, but at the same time, I thought, well, that's probably life. That's how it goes. But then I should have known, really. It always comes back at some point or another. I woke up one morning and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to go out and take some photos? And I did go back and did take photos. But I thought back to when I was a child, when I was still doing film photography. And I remember how my dad introduced me to black and white photography. We went into the dark room together and he just showed me how you develop the film, the photos, and I remember seeing the first time how on this white piece of sheet you had this black and white photo that just magically appeared, and how fascinating that was. And then I thought, well, I've occasionally taken black and white photos in digital as well, so why not try it a little bit more seriously? So, I mean, I thought that again. It took a little while before I actually took out my camera and went for a walk. And again, I was trying to do these epic big walks. I just had this idea that in order to take a good photo, you have to exhaust yourself. But after a while, I thought, well, you know what? Let's just try to do these family walks and see what happens. Maybe just take the camera with you. And I don't know why I used to think that that wouldn't work, but it was perfectly fine, you know. I started to put my camera on a little strap here on the rucksack. It wasn't disrupting our family walks, our family time. And also I was able to come home with some photos. And then I thought, well, instead of doing these crazy once in a month or every 6 weeks golden hour trips, let's try to take photos in more mundane locations during my everyday life. And the result of that was that I started to take more photos that I was happy with. Yeah, they weren't, you know, very colorful and everything, but they started to have more meaning to me. And I think that's actually more important than to have impressive photos. I've since moved away from social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I think I've managed to shift to taking photos more for myself. And to be honest, when you're into black and white photography, you will notice as well that compared to colorful, bright pictures, the engagement you get on social media is not the same. It's much lower. So it's important that you find a person with a strong reason for taking these kind of photos. And me personally, it's really helped me. So it's been a while now that I haven't had to get up in the middle of the night to go up a steep mountain and take pictures at sunrise. I mean, the experience is beautiful. I sometimes miss that, but then I can just wait for the winter when the sun rises a little bit later and when I don't have to get up so early. But I really like this new way of taking photos where family life and photography work well with each other. You know, I'd love to hear from you if you've had that kind of shift. I mean, I totally respect golden hour and people who go for it. In the country, I'm very impressed by people who still have the energy to do that. It's just that for me, it wasn't working out so well. Maybe in the future, I'll do it a little bit more again, but for now, I'm really glad that I'm taking more mundane pictures. I don't know if they're mundane, but you know, that my camera comes with me when it's not too difficult. Anyway, so I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye. Take off the landscape, take, ta ta ta.